So on an earlier occasion in talking about your own daughters and talking about sex education and contraception, you said that you would not want your daughter punished with a baby if she made a mistake, that you would teach values and morals, but if something were to happen. The phrase punished with a baby was jarring to a number of people. Could you explain what you meant by that?
Well, keep in mind on that same day I said children are miracles. And so I think it's important not to parse my words too carefully here. What I was saying was that my daughters are 9 and 6. And so if at the age of 12 or 13 they made what I would consider to be a mistake in having sex or unprotected sex and ended up getting pregnant, I think that statistically we know 12 or 13-year-olds who are having children are much more likely to be impoverished, are much more likely to be have health problems, are much more likely to have trouble raising that child. And so all I meant was we want to prevent teen pregnancies, and what we don't want to do is to be blind to the possibility that kids will screw up. Just like, surprisingly enough, we as adults screw up sometimes. And that we should factor in the possibility that they make mistakes in our approach to dealing with STDs, which is what I was being asked about at the time. And we want to make sure that even as we are teaching responsible sexuality and we are teaching abstinence to children, that we are also making sure that they've got enough understanding about contraception that they don't end up having much more severe problems because of a dumb mistake.
Senator, if one of your daughters asked you, and maybe they already have, Daddy, did God really create the world in 6 days? What would you say?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we had this conversation. What I've said to them is that I believe that God created the universe and that the 6 days in the Bible may not be 6 days as we understand it. It may not be 24-hour days. And that's what I believe. I know there's always a debate between those who read the Bible literally and those who don't. And that, I think, is a legitimate debate within the Christian community, of which I'm a part. My belief is that the story that the Bible tells about God creating this magnificent earth on which we live, that is essentially true. That is fundamentally true. Now, whether it happened exactly as we might understand it, reading the text of the Bible, I don't presume to know.
Let's go to...
But let me just make one last point on this. I do believe in evolution. I don't think that is incompatible with Christian faith, just as I don't think science generally is incompatible with Christian faith. And I think that this is something that we get bogged down in. There are those who suggest that if you have a scientific bent of mind, then somehow you should reject religion. And I fundamentally disagree with that. In fact, the more I learn about the world, the more I know about science, the more I'm amazed about the mystery of this planet and this universe, and it strengthens my faith as opposed to weakens it.
Let's go to Reverend Richard Cizik, who's Vice President of the National Association of Evangelicals. Reverend.
Good evening, Senator. You just took my question. Congratulations. You won the prize. No, let me flesh this out just a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. Frankly, there has been perceived by many, millions, a war between science and faith. I don't believe there's a war at all. In fact, the worlds of religion and science are coming together in amazing ways, including here on this campus. For example, you have young evangelical Christians who are leaders on developing what we call creation care, or a policy on climate change. And so let me ask you, you've already hinted at it, but let me ask you in specific, how do you relate your faith or personal convictions to science generally and science policy? And let's take an issue like climate and flesh that out, or take stem cells, something like that. Just give us a little more indication of how you think.
Well, first
Is
of all,
that fair enough?
It is fair enough, and you guys have done some terrific work on this, so I want to congratulate you on that. Should it be part of God's plan to have me in the White House, I look forward to our collaboration. Look, one of the things I draw from the Genesis story is the importance of us being good stewards of the land, of this incredible gift. And I think there have been times where we haven't been. And this is one of those times where we've got to take the warning seriously. I know that Al Gore was mentioned earlier. By the way, I have to say I think Al Gore won. And I think and has done terrific work since. But I think that we are seeing enough warning signs for us to take this seriously. And part of what my religious faith teaches me is to take an intergenerational view, to recognize that we are borrowing this planet from our children and our grandchildren. And so we've got this obligation to them, which means that we've got to make some uncomfortable choices. And where I think potentially religious faith and the science of global warming converge is precisely because it's going to be hard to deal with. We have to find resources in ourselves that allow us to make those sacrifices, where we say, you know what, we're not going to leave it to the next generation. We're not going to wait. We are going to put in place a cap-and-trade system that controls the amount of greenhouse gases that are going in the atmosphere. And we know that that will require us to make some adjustments in terms of how we use energy. And we've got to be less wasteful, both as a society and in our own individual lives. And having faith, believing that this planet and this world extends beyond us. It's not just here for us, but it's here for more and more generations to come. I think religion can actually bolster our desire to make those sacrifices now. And that's why, as president, I hope to be able to rally the entire world around the importance of us being good stewards of the land.
All right, Senator Obama, we're going to take a quick break. Everybody stay with us. We'll be right back. When we come back, we'll ask Senator Obama what he would tell those Americans who say there's too much religion in government. That's right after this.